Hello and welcome to the ORCA Pod, our coverage of the 11 existing Australian LRGs, ranking them down from number 11-ish, as we didn't reveal what they were, and 7, and now officially number 7 was done last month. We are deep into our coverage of the 6th best LRG in the history of the Australian LRG community. Sam Green's wonderful first season debut of Brisbane Survivor, and tonight I'm going to be joined by the winner, his blood brother himself, Nic Green, to talk about his whole game and everything he did playing Brisbane Survivor, the people you know, what sort of Survivor fan is he, how much was he really playing that down on the day. That's going to be really interesting to find out and work through how he took himself to victory. And of course, voting remains open. We've got a few votes, but there's plenty more votes to come. And a lot of them, I will say, are very close. MVP, ORCA, even best premier's boot, maybe. All of them are very, very close. So this is your opportunity to get in there and say who you think was the MVP, who was the player you'd like to see again. Get in there and get your votes, have them count. They're on the links to tonight's show. Next week is the tea party, everyone's favorite part of our coverage. Annabelle will be here. She will be joined by Lily. She'll be joined by Tyler, and she'll be joined by Alex. It's going to be a fantastic crew of big personalities talking about their time on Brisbane Survivor. Of course, we then reveal the awards the week after. I'll talk to Sam about everything that went into this labor of love, and we'll move on to our next season of coverage, which, if you want to start binging now, is the amazing, and I think probably should be higher in the rankings, but what are you going to say? Democracy doesn't work. Backyard Survivor, Season 2, Yards Apart. So go watch that if you want, or just follow our coverage when we start that next month. So, housekeeping out of the way, going to bring in the winner of the first ever season of Brisbane Survivor. I wonder if Sam feels it's something special that his brother won the first ever season, or something that his brother will never let him live down. I guess it's a good thing Sam won Sydney, because at least he's got that under his boot and he can say it's a full season perhaps. But we'll have to get into all that brotherly rivalry and, of course, the sisterly brotherly rivalry that was also happening on the season. We'll get into all of that. And so to do that, let me welcome Nic. Welcome.
CK, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm so glad you've come to join us. I wasn't sure how well we would go bringing in some of the Brisbane Survivor crew to the ORCA countdown that we're doing at the moment. It's the newest entry to the community. It's the newest part of the community, and there's a lot of the community's really intertwined itself over the years. And I don't know so much if that's been able to happen with the Brisbane people, partly because, they're not all super fans who applied for an LRG. They're just Sam's friends and family who we corralled into a game of Survivor. But, you've been receptive. As I said, we've got some great people coming on to the tea party next week, so I'm very excited for that. Tell me, how did you end up on Brisbane Survivor, the people you know?
I guess it was the people I know, CK. No, so Sam obviously, yeah, exactly. Sam obviously asked me on. Not asked, he asked me to apply, I will say.
You had to apply.
There was an application. No. Everyone who was in the game had to apply, and Sam picked the 10 people.
Hang on, so there were people that applied that were asked to apply and didn't get on. Is that what you're telling me?
Potentially, or there was people that applied that weren't asked to apply that didn't get on. Maybe. But that again ties in with the people we know. Yes. Yeah. So people know.
Are they still friends and family with Sam?
I think everyone's friends and family with Sam, so I don't think anyone can hate him.
He's unhateable. Yeah, I get that. Exactly. That's fun. I'm going to get into that a bit when I chat with Sam in a couple of weeks. That's great intel. I just thought these were the 10 people that could get to do it.
Yeah, well, essentially it was. But there was I actually asked Sam to send me the application form so I could show you, because I thought it was a joke. I thought he was kidding. I was like, I'm going to be on the show, obviously. Because
it was a joke that you would have to apply, not a joke that he was doing the thing.
No, I had to apply. I thought he was kidding. Yeah, I thought he was kidding about the application. So on my application, it just said all the answers I had on the application were, I'm going to win. don't worry about it, I'll win. Like all of the answers are just me just mucking around with him. So it ended up being quite funny that I did win because like from then on I was just pointing at him, mucking around, saying, I told you. It was good.
What level of Survivor fan? We were discussing this last week, and I understand you did listen to the coverage after the fact. What sort of level of Survivor fan are you? During the game, you really played it down quite a bit, and I'm interested to get your thoughts on that because obviously there's people that know you there. So I was sort of, because there were people that knew you there, I was believing that you weren't that big of a fan, that you were perhaps a fan by osmosis through Sam, like my wife is, as I mentioned. But you did use the word polarity, which is really only used by people that listen to Shannon Guss podcast. You're wearing a Simon hat, a Simon Me hat. Simon Me is probably a champion of the casuals, but it's still Survivor merchandise that I personally don't own. So where do you sit?
Okay, so I got this for winning. It actually says never snuffed. Yeah, so this was signed by Simon and was given to Sam for the winner. So again, props to Simon, legend. But I watch it, right? So like I lived in the same house as Sam, so there was no choice. But I couldn't tell you how many finales I watched, or like I was in it for the competitive side of the games.
Yeah.
That's because I was a sporty kid. That's what I enjoyed about it. But I obviously picked up a lot of the intricacies of the game while watching it and understanding how you get to the end. And that was by playing a subtle game, realistically. Like the whole time, that's what I tried to push onto people. I knew that I had the closest connection in the game with Lily. So I had to like continually show people that I didn't want anything to do with her. Like I didn't want to be a part of her game. And then that also came with me playing a really, really like, especially in all the, when we're voting each other out and when we're doing all the stuff in front of everyone else, all the time I'm pushing it off to other people. Like I'm just saying, I don't know. But in reality, I'm sitting there kind of pondering what people are saying and kind of understanding it, I guess.
So you wouldn't say you watch it religiously. If there's a season on, you wouldn't watch every episode, but you've seen enough of it that you picked it up over time that so you know the gist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think going in, I think it gave me a bit of an advantage because I just kind of saw the game for what it was. Like it just kind of opened up and I just played people the way I'd try and survive, right? So, yeah.
What about the word polarity? Now I'm doing over polarity. It's a bit of a word, but it's just not used every day. But Shannon Guss loves it. Is that what you've heard it, or have you heard Sam say it?
Tyler used it early in the season.
I bet she listens to Shannon Guss podcast. Absolutely,
100%. Like Tyler, If there's anyone in the game like that I was gonna follow or listen to, it was Tyler. Like, So.
All right, there's a couple of great things there that you've mentioned that I think were a big part of your game, and I think it's a good idea to get deep into some of those. The first one you mentioned is your relationship with your sister Lily. Now, you did do everything you could to regularly throw her under the bus, whether it was I want to vote her out, or if it was a opportunity to go one-on-one in a challenge, you wanted that. There's even an episode where she says, she puts her hand up to go and she's like, Nic's going to go. 100% Nic's going to go. I appreciate you saying you did that because she's someone you know, and that therefore could be a relationship that people are concerned about. But is that also just the way the two of you are, just uber competitive about everything?
Oh, 100%. Like I was going to seek her out the whole day to like verse her and stuff. It's just what we're like. We just compete at everything. So, it was a great day. Like that's the best part about it is we got to compete and have fun. And I miss it. It was great.
Were you surprised that Lily voted for you in the end? Because I got the impression that it was a bit begrudgingly, and you deserve to win. So, I would have voted for her in your shoes. But I'm also an only child, and I don't have to deal with my sibling now lording over the fact that he beat me in Survivor for the rest of my life. So do you think, was that a factor? Like, you didn't want to get beaten by her, and equally she didn't want to get beaten by you. Do you feel just because, you'd always have that?
Yeah, definitely. Like, going in, that's 100%. Would I have voted for her in the final? Yeah, I would have as well. I think that, yeah, she played a great game, but
yeah.
And we kind of, like, getting towards the end of the day, Liam was saying it towards those later episodes, but people were saying, like, they played a really good game or a really hard game. And Liam kept specifying hard. And I think Lily played, like, one of the harder ones, right? So, like, it was, going into the end, I had all the respect for Liam, Lily, Kyle, because, yeah, even though it was just a day, there was just so much going on. Even though there was only 10 people, it was just very hard to keep control of the situation, and you never felt safe. And yeah, it was tough.
It was a fantastic, though, dynamic with you and Lily the whole game. And of course, she was pivotal in what was, your big move of the season, probably the biggest move of the season. Ultimately, it was a lot for little outcome, except to really seal the deal on Liam. But, it's a ballsy move and an amazing use of your idol. To those that haven't watched this recently, or those that haven't watched our coverage last week, they're going into the final four. Nic has an idol that has to be played at that tribal council. Kyle is immune. So Nic decides no one knows about this idol, and he, during the tribal council, passes it to Lily. She didn't know that Nic had it before this. And she basically indicates to everyone that she has an idol. She's wearing it. She's going to play it. And then right after everyone's voted, Nic stands up, asks for his idol back. She hands it to him, and he plays it. So she had implied immunity. Nic had actual immunity, and Liam was basically done. He was done anyway on the voting, but it really much sealed the deal. Nic, when did you start formulating this move? Did you think you were actually under any threat? Was this really a way of ensuring that Liam went instead of Lily? What was the thinking about this move?
Yeah, going into that final four was very interesting. Like, it all came very fast. So I was sitting there contemplating how to use it, and do I use Lily in it? And it all came down to who I could trust. And it was realistically no one. It was myself. I think I just wanted to show in that last tribal that I had control, because I felt that since Tyler left, I had control. Even when you hear Lily speak throughout the episodes, she's saying, "Oh, they're doing what I want to do." And that's me doing what she wants to do, because that's what I want to do. So that was like me showing them, I've played a subtle game. You don't know, but I'm pulling the strings. And I think, like, Lily wasn't aware. No one sitting with us was aware, even after. So Kyle, going into that final challenge, didn't know that I'd played such a big move. Not necessarily that it might have mattered, but when he made that choice not knowing that I'd just gotten rid of Liam, if that makes sense.
They were all still a bit confused about what had happened. Yeah,
100%.
And equally, though, the choice was still you or Lily, and Lily had probably a bigger game than you at that point, and she was a part of what you just did as well. So even if it was your move, which it was, she was a part of it. So you didn't raise your threat level above hers by doing the move because you included her in it.
Yep, for sure.
You still made it super. Kyle was still never going to take her instead of you. We were discussing what would have happened if Lily had made the end against Kyle. Is that a clean sweep, possibly, do you think? Has there been discussion about that?
I think Lily would have been a lot harder for Kyle to face in that final.
Would you see that going 8-0 for her potentially?
No. I'd vote for Lily, but I think there'd be someone on the jury that would vote for Kyle. Even like I said in that final tribal, like Kyle, for what his game was still true to himself the whole time. So he played the same game, the same way, and it got him to where he was, whether it was, by luck or by... Yeah,
it wasn't by luck. Kyle had a very strong social game. Obviously, his physical game was elite, and his strategy was, he didn't want to run the strategy, and that was never his intent. And instead, he, there's confessionals and discussions where he is reading the play and reading the people spot on the entire game. Like, he's not 100%. A fool. He absolutely knows what's going on. It's just 100%. That, as you said, the nerds on the council or whatever it's called aren't going to respect that sort of game.
No. And Lily was in everyone's face all day. And that might be why she gets that 8-0 count. Because she played we played polar opposites of games. Lily was very in your face. Like, this is like, I will survive. And I just hit.
I do love that quote. I've been using it as the quote of the season. The best bit is how you also mislabeled the jury as the council or whatever. I think just really hits it home as a fantastic quote. I do love it. And you felt that you would be able to beat Kyle, or at least have a good chance against Kyle. Going in, were you sort of counting your votes, or you just sort of seeing how it would go?
Yeah, I was counting my votes, definitely. I thought I'd won going in. I think last week you referenced that last tribal and the way we spoke. I think you summed it up really well last week. I did what I had to do to not upset people on the jury. And that was all. I felt like I'd won. Like, I didn't need to ruin my chances by saying something stupid.
Yeah, and look, that's part of the way you played the whole game in that aspect of it, the tribal councils. And your final tribal council was more forward about what you've been doing. But during a lot of the tribal councils, you often would respond that, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, look, I don't really know this Survivor stuff. I guess we're doing this, but, who knows? That sort of was your dialogue often to what the plan was. Obviously, you're playing dumb a lot there. And I think that worked to some extent. But considering you were playing with people who knew you, who did you know besides Lily? Just to clarify.
So Sean was Sam's best friend, so we met. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
And Tyler, Liam, I'd met Georgia.
Yeah.
And Andy.
Okay, so it's quite a few people there. And
but they know of me. They don't we may have conversed briefly at a dinner or something, but we don't know each other. So they're at heart, they don't know what kind of competitor I am. And that's what I kind of played at. I was just cruising through the game. And luckily, I think there was a few of us doing similar. So it just fit in.
You certainly had them, what you need to be doing, what anyone needs to be doing in Survivor is you want to lean on the part of your personality and embiggen the part of your personality that is most likely to give you success in the game, and try and lower the parts that are not going to. So I think that you are, my interpretation of watching you is that you are a very intelligent sort of social operator who can operate probably in any different sort of social circle. And you can probably chameleon yourself to whatever it needs to be. But what you brought to this one was more blokey. I'm here for a good time. I'm here for the challenges. I'm here to have some fun. I'm not really into the scheming stuff, because Liam was running that angle too, even though he's clearly a professional and a very intelligent person. He was running the blokey thing. And then you had a bunch of blokey guys that sort of were doing that just as who they were. So you just went for that. That was the vibe I got for most of it.
Yeah, like naturally, it was very easy for me to, like, I'm a relatively laid back dude, so it was easy for me to just zone out. Like, there was some tribals I wasn't listening. Neither
was I.
Yeah, so like I'm just sitting there thinking about like what I'm doing next, or you know, is there food back there? So it was very easy for me to play that part because I can just get lost in my own head anyway. So like Liam's was a very strategic way of playing that angle. I think I just lent on my laziness a little bit.
That's fine. But what was interesting was you saw that with you and the way you played with those lots of players. But when you got swapped and started playing with Tyler, that was where your more strategic part, I think, came out. And maybe let's talk about that third tribal council, which was quite pivotal to the game. And at that point, certainly the most exciting tribal council. You're on a 2-2 tribe with Tyler, who, you know, you've been with her from the start, but you've not been to a tribal before. And we've got a group of Alex and Liam, and Alex is playing hard and fast and loose. Liam's somewhat trying to keep up with him, but their stories do not align. There's a mismatch. Tyler absolutely dominates that round and fully just has her reads on what everyone else is doing is perfect. And the two of you end up coming together to ensure a 2-1-1 happens and you both stay safe. Do you recall how that sort of came about, that quite complex vote?
Yeah, yes, definitely. So obviously we went through the split, and Tyler and I got stuck. Worst result I could have hoped for. In those first few episodes, I had Alex just in my crosshairs the whole time. Like, he made a fool of me in the first episode, like threw a ball between my legs, made me fall over, and then like showboated in front of me. And I was just like, damn, this guy, like, you know, who is he?
Did you know?
No,
him?
And that was why I'm not at all. Like, that's why I was rattled, because I was like, I'm sitting here like plotting, and this guy's just come out of the woodwork and he's just played the biggest game so early. And then we obviously jump into that thing, and I regret that episode because I'm like, the boys. But I was the first one to go.
When you say the boys, you mean that was your focus of the original tribe?
Yeah, so my sell to the guys was I knew who, not from the original tribe when we were going
to Alex and to Liam.
Yeah.
So you start wanting to take out Tyler. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. Okay. So my play is, because Tyler's not there, Tyler was the first person gone. So I've got to speak. They've got a 2-1.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, okay, like I've got to sell them something.
For those that haven't played one of these, what he means by she's gone is she's gone to do her confessional with the camera.
Yeah.
And they're going to take turns. So this is just how it started. It's 2-on-1, him with them. And what do you do in that situation, as you say?
You like, if I don't take something to them and we sit there in silence, they take something to Tyler, or like they're like, I've got to give them something. And the only thing I had in the game at that point was the information that Sean had an idol. Like, I saw him pick it up. So I just said, take me through and like, we'll get rid of Tyler and I will tell you who has the idol. If we don't merge, like, I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
And to me, it just seemed like an easy decision for them, right? And then, like, I go for a confessional and come back and just, like, Alex just loses it, like, just throws everything on the table. And we're on both sides of him, Tyler and I. So he's speaking and I'm watching Tyler's mind, just like beautiful minds, just go. And so we're kind of like sus at that point. But we needed to figure out where the idol was. So the edit makes me seem like I'm going in voting for Tyler, but I was always going to not until Alex went crazy. But when he did, I was always going to try and figure out of Liam or Alex who we were going to vote, because it was just then we were trying to figure out who had the idol. That was the game we were playing. If Alex was showing us the piece of paper because Liam had it, or vice versa.
Yeah, him showing the piece of paper by itself was sus. That's always sus. He should have shown both things. And then it didn't line up. He said he hadn't told Liam, and then Liam comes back, and you're like, Tyler's saying, did you know about the idol? And he's like, yeah. And because he thinks you're talking about Lily's idol, which you guys don't ever seem to work out. It's a really mess of miscommunication. Did you guys realize that Liam was going to be voting for Alex at the tribal council, or was that a surprise?
No, we thought, yeah.
Sorry, incorrect. Alex voted for Liam. Sorry, Alex voted for Liam. Liam voted for you, I think.
Me, correct. Yeah. No, we didn't know what they were doing. We played the game in front of everyone when we were there. And then walking to tribal, we spoke, and then at tribal, you can see us like whispering at each other. And predominantly Tyler, like she was running the ship at that point. I was just all on board.
She decided the name at that tribal council. Is that right?
I would.
So I think you say something in your voting confessional, like this is I'm
having a punt.
Minute. Yeah. Sorry,
I'm having a punt because I was punting between Alex and Liam. But it made it seem like I was having a punt, as in like I don't know.
Yes.
We were sold on Alex, and I was writing, like I had sticks in my hand. I had an A in front of me with sticks, and I was like kicking the sticks in front of Tyler.
Yeah.
And then I just ended up leaning over and being like, Alex, and just like, vote Alex, please.
Yeah.
And she did, thank God.
And then you guys became quite tight coming into the merge. Who were you actually more tight with before the swap from your original tribe? Was it Tyler, or was it some of the other people?
Like you guys said, it was really hard because we hadn't gone to tribal. So we were all just sitting there trying to, like Tyler even said it herself, like she wanted to play a low profile game.
Yeah, she couldn't. Yeah.
So she played a low profile game up until Alex, right? She barely spoke. Like we were having general chit chat, but there was no real strategic gameplay conversations going on. I'd say I would have always tried to work with Tyler, though, for sure.
Sean, on the other hand, made a fatal mistake of finding an idol, thinking you saw him find an idol, but then not coming to talk to you about how he'd found the idol, which is what you do in that scenario. Because
crazy,
if you think someone's seen you, just go and fess up to them and try and build something with them about it. But you, I imagine, were all incredibly sus on him after that he didn't come and tell you about it.
No, so like I think I even said it in one of my confessionals. I will let him decide. I would have gone into the game, like I would have played with Sean to a degree. I know how competitive he is, and I know that the later the game got, I would have had to have probably watched my back, but I would have played with him if he told me about it for sure. I was even thinking about how we use it. I'm running through so many ideas, and then as soon as the tribe swap came, I was like, "Well, stuff him. He had his chance." So
and he didn't tell you at merge either. Why do you think he wasn't? Is he a big Survivor fan? Like, just being Sam's bestie doesn't necessarily need to make him a super fan. Certainly, I have.
No, he'd probably be a similar level fan to me. I'd say would be the best. Like he'd watch a few episodes, but in terms of the intricacies of the game, I don't think like he would be sitting there plotting. He was sitting on that to get late. I think he backed his own ability to beat us all at challenges, to be honest. Him, Kyle and Liam, that's just a really unfortunate 3 people to have. I thought I was going to go in. Like I said in the finale, I thought I was going to go in and be good at challenges, and I just got walloped. Like I just got absolutely cleaned up. So
you're right. They were all pretty elite, but that's actually what made it good, because if you just had one of them, then it would have been too one-sided in the tribe challenges, and certainly someone might have just won out post-merge. So it was good to have such strong performance, particularly as the challenges were quite well made. So it was good to have strong competitors there. I imagine for Sean, it was probably a bit paralyzing. Having an idol, you don't really know what you should do with it. And he was in the worst case scenario where it was known that he had an idol. So being such a challenge threat, if he doesn't win the challenge right away, he's going to be under threat, and he didn't appreciate that. You didn't really talk about this much at the final tribal, but his vote out has a lot to do with you. I know it was sort of a groupthink consensus, but really it's because you'd spread around that he had an idol. I think that groupthink ultimately became the decision for the merge.
Yeah, like 100%. Like I probably should have taken more credit at the final tribal for sure. I think it suited my game again, though, like having that kind of vote out, because I could just fly under the radar. And I think that comes back to what I was saying before. Like I felt in control from then. As soon as Tyler took Sean, I was like, beautiful. Like she's playing with me. Like we know what we're doing. And
you weren't bothered at all that you weren't taken. You felt that was split the groups, make sure you're on both pages yet.
Yeah, take him away, and then even the way she was speaking there was like on the rewatch, I was like, she's so good. Like Lily, she just attacked Lily, but it had nothing to do with what we're doing. So she was playing such a good game, and I would have kept playing with her, but it didn't work.
Does she go on the one after that, or is it Andy first?
Nah, it goes in the one after. So we make that decision on Sean. And I think Tyler and I could take 50-50 for sure, because she wouldn't have let me do what I needed to do back there, or Liam for that matter. Yeah. And the next one, Andy says she's got to go. Like Tyler's got to go. She just made that massive move. And
you're there sitting in your chair, your standard chair, your lucky chair, which, you luckily find an island later. And you're like, yeah, I'm down for this. Like, no holds barred. She's got to go.
Yeah, well, it just like, it set precedent then, right? Like for her to go next. So like, I just thought, well, yeah, like I then get to, I think it was top 5, final 5 at that point. So, yeah, it just made all the sense in the world, unfortunately, for Tyler. The more info she got about all these people and the later she got in the game, it would have been very hard. And then you would have come up, like, chances of coming into a puzzle in one of those later things. And, yeah, so get her when you can, I think.
Did you feel that you, at that point, had enough on your resume? Were there people there that if you ended up against, Tyler's gone in the snow, if you're against Lily, if you're against Liam, like, are you going to beat them, or they've got to go no matter what as part of your plan at some point?
Lily's got to go. Yeah, Lily's got to go. I think voting my own sister out late in the game was, before I found the idol, was what I was playing for. The subtlety of the game, and then beating her would have been, that's how I envisioned it. And then the idol came and I just made the most of that. But I think I even said in the finale that like it was just a shame that like I couldn't vote you out and like mic drop.
You said it multiple times. You said it to her face.
100%. Because like I like writing her name down would have been so hard, right? But like going the whole day, I'm just like, I've got to get her. Also, due to the fact that I think I also took an impression of Survivor, and correct me if I'm wrong, that people will hold you to your word no matter what, right? So like if you're getting to that final tribal and I'm telling everyone all day, don't trust Lily, don't trust Lily, don't trust Lily, and I bring her with me, like I'm not winning, right? Like I'm just there. There's cases there against my game, I feel.
Yeah, I think when there's a player as strong as Lily, all she has to say is, "This guy's been telling you to get me out the whole game. I'm his sister. He knows me well, and still you didn't vote me out." Like, if you can pull something like that out, then like
there's really plenty of It was tough, and I think. Yeah, that was my game plan, and just naturally, I think beating each other, it's hard. I think it would have been harder for Lily to vote me out. I think that's where I might have had a bit of an advantage because
she never talked about voting you out and wanting to vote you out.
Lily's a loyal person. She'll stick with the people she loves and her friends and her family. Like that is what she'll do. So. Yeah, it was hard, but sometimes you never know with Lily either. She might have just decided she didn't like me that day and voted me out first. So
she's the only one of the Green siblings that's like this, that would stick with their people. Because Sam seems like a great guy, but he burned Luke hard to win that game in Sydney.
Yeah, where can like. It's weird in competition. Happy to burn you. Like we're playing a game, right? Apologize later. But Lily will, if we're in a game, but her family or her friends or people are involved, they're still her family and her friends. People like that's just how she plays. So, it was. But Sam's exactly like me. He will play the game to the best of his ability. Doesn't matter if he's got to backstab you or not. It's a game.
So we get the idol coming into the final four. And is that the chair that you were always sitting in? Is this have you been gifted something by production here? Was that your chair that you always sat in?
I sat in that chair a few times. After the game, it was quite funny. I think the camera crew or the production crew, whoever it was, were like, "Do you know how long that idol was in that chair?" Like that was.
Oh, okay.
Everyone had sat there when it was in there, and like they've got film of just them zooming in on the people like sitting in the chair waiting for them to find it.
And so it was there from Merge, perhaps.
Yeah, well, who used the last idol? Lily.
Well, it could have been the Merge idol, or it could have gone where it got him and Sean got voted out with the idol.
It would have been the Sean flush for sure.
Yeah.
So it would have been there from the next. It probably would have been there when he walked off. So
because they would have done it. Yeah. Or when you went to the challenge, maybe. But okay, that's fascinating because I was like, because it was just
and it looks sus as, right?
It was in the stubby hole. Is that where it was? Sort of in the little hole.
Yeah, it was in the little esky. Yeah, little esky down the side. So, and there was other stuff in there. Like I'm rattling my hand in there.
Kit Kat wrappers or whatnot from
when Alex... it was wrappers. Yeah, it was Kit Kats for sure. There's a few there was a few muesli bar wrappers in there too.
Yeah, because from early in the day when they were just smashing their faces when it was going to get stolen. The food eating. Talk about food. The food eating challenge. Lily seemed incredibly unhappy with the result. Has she forgiven Sam for this? She seemed very bitter and just didn't feel that she'd lost it.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it was a hard one because, like, I didn't have her going that hard. Like, as soon as I saw Liam eat the first plate, I was like, okay, well, I can't win.
I'm not eating this shit.
But something in Lily's brain thought I can win. Like, I can beat this like guy. So, good on her. Like, that sums Lily up to a T, right? But no, I felt Liam won. Lily was frantic, and Lily was doing all she could to chew what was in her mouth, but that doesn't necessarily mean she swallowed what was in her mouth.
You keep saying Sam, instead of just focusing on getting it down.
Nah, like her mouth was black. Like it was just
black with ants.
Yeah, it was grim.
And look, at the end of the day, she doesn't get voted out at that one. So you sort of can be, if you feel like you got robbed a bit, but you don't get booted, then you forget about it. Whereas if that was the one you get booted on, then you don't really forget about it. Sort of like that a bit.
It's pretty tough for sure.
The final tribal council, did you find? I know you were confident going in. Kyle was, as to be expected, very humble, probably too humble. It seems like that's the sort of guy he is. He's not going to build himself up, even though I'm sure he has a lot of accomplishments and a lot of great things he could say about himself and things he's done. Just doesn't seem to be his style at all. You probably could have gone harder. Did you take approach though that considering he was going to be so underselling himself to an extent that you wanted to sell yourself a bit, but you got to manage it. Whereas if say you were against Tyler, maybe you would have needed to say a lot more about how good your game was.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's horses for courses there. Like when you're up against someone in that finale, like I knew going in that I'd played a really solid game. I probably didn't articulate the moves like you said. I probably needed to play a bit more into the Shan move. There's probably a few that I didn't articulate the best I could have. But that was me going in. I felt like I'd done enough in the game, and I felt going up against Kyle, understanding what he would have been like at that final tribal, that I could politely state my game for the jury. And in being people, like his best friend's on the jury, right? So
who was his best friend?
Well, potentially not his best friend, but like a very good friend, Liam.
Who voted for him?
Yeah. So, so like there's so many connections that I potentially don't know about that I just don't want to jeopardize by going, he's played such a poor game, or like he hasn't done what I've done. It pales in comparison, like I just needed to show what I'd done to the jury and let Kyle do his thing.
Oh, you certainly should never be disparaging against the people that are with you in Final Tribal Council unless you're asked as a jury question to say something disparaging, and then I think it's a bit of a cop-out to say something that's a bit weak, like just give the proper answer. But like I learned that I've played a lot of orgs. You're probably not an org person at all. I played a lot of them after I played Melbourne Survivor, and people love hearing me talk about orgs that I've played on this thing. But I've made Final Tribal Councils a lot, like 6 or something. And I've won a few and I've lost a few. But the first one I lost, I said, I played the best game, which I did. And this guy that I'm playing against is shit for this reason. And it just turned into an absolute slagging each other off match after that. And that was my fault for I didn't need to be disparaging about him. I should have just talked about what was great about my game. And I'll never do it again now. Like, it was stupid and I wouldn't do it. And it serves no value. Yeah,
for sure. And like I played the whole game, funnily enough, with Kyle too. Like going into that final 3, I didn't know that we had aligned that whole time. Like it was just weird, right? Like we were working together, but he wasn't letting me know his votes. We weren't aware of what each other were doing. So it was hard going in because I appreciated his game and I knew he played a really, really good, honest game. And I knew that some people on the jury might see that as a strength, that he played one way the whole way consistently, treated everyone the same and got there. So yeah, the last thing I needed to do was make more enemies, I guess, by going at him, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting how you mentioned that Liam was his bestie because Liam voted for him. And he also took Liam on that reward run at the start, which sort of came out of nowhere, and now that's a bit more clear for me. Did you feel that Liam was looking for a reason not to vote for you with his question, which I think you answered the best you could? He asked you, does challenge performance matter, or should it matter? And your answer was no.
If I won some, I would have said yes. No,
he asked you that question knowing you hadn't won, and I think it was just trying to really give credence to his vote that he was about to cast.
Potentially, for sure. I think, it's a hard one, that challenge. I went in thinking that's what would get me where I needed to go, playing a slight game, being quite competitive in the challenges, and doing all right. So it was quite funny that by the end of the day, I'm telling everyone that they don't need to win them. So it's fine. It's all good. Just hope you get through. So,
and I can tell you that the nerds on the council, they don't care about the challenges either.
No, I do apologize to all my Survivor nerds out there. I'm a nerd myself, but not.
It's a great quote. I love the quote. Don't apologize. It's like my favorite quote of probably any of these LRGs. Yeah, I loved it.
Happy to help.
And the other vote that you didn't get was Georgia or Haley, from memory?
Yes. I think it was Haley.
Why do you think that was? What was it? Do you know her? What was it? Did she know Kyle? What was the thing?
Both Georgia and Haley were early games, so we didn't really play.
Yeah, and you didn't know her. Did she know Kyle? No. Potentially,
maybe. So that might have been something there. But it wasn't. I wasn't really too worried about that, to be honest. I would have been happy with a 5-3 or whatever, as long as we weren't going 4-4 and having to do something stupid. That would have been fun.
Yeah, Sam explained it last week. It was nonsense.
I couldn't have kept speaking. I was done by then. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a horrible. He sent us a message on the thing. It was a horrible example of what would work. It wouldn't have worked. So it's a good thing that you were able to get the votes. And then you finish the game. How long was it between playing and the actual season came out?
It was a while. The production was good because they spent time. I'd say it was 18 months to 2 years. I'd say. Probably maybe 2 years plus.
Yeah. And then it came out, and were you pretty excited to watch it? Like the whole family,
I've seen. It was awesome. Like, it's great. Like, we saw how much effort Sam put into it, and I've seen what Cam does with other things, with his work. So I knew. I
don't know Cam. What's Cam's involvement?
Cam did our filming and production.
Yeah.
So a lot of those edits and memes and pictures and things you'll see in there, that's Cam Armstrong. Very, very talented man. So it took a long time, but like when it came out, like you said, for a first season of something, the quality was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
And I imagine you haven't seen any of these other LRGs that we're covering. You're not you've got to be a bit of a crazy diehard fan to be watching these fan-made ones. Even more crazy to be podcasting about them.
Here I am.
Has it really sort of opened your eyes or blown your way to find out there's this whole community of collegiate seasons and programs all across the country that all are now supporting each other, and there's a big community of people who know each other just from that. Has that blown your mind open?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like I said to Sam after they filmed season 2 recently, that I haven't seen so many people from so many different walks of life come together over a game, and travel so far and support each other. It really is such a beautiful thing. It's pretty cool to see. So, more of it. Why not?
Well, congratulations on winning. There's only 11 of these things to date. So you're one of 11 winners. I think that's something to be pretty proud of. People will try and say.
I do just want to say I got ruled out of an all-star spot last week by the 3 of you. So I really, really want that spot.
An all-star. What do you say? You would be on an all-star season?
Well,
I think you would.
Well, last week you said Tyler, Alex, and Lily, and I'm here I am sitting here, won it, and I can't get an invite. You know, what's a man got to do?
That's for the tea party. That's not the All Stars.
Right. Okay.
If you hadn't won, you probably would have found yourself on the tea party as well.
No, which is fine. It's fine. The tea party, I'll be there. I'll be watching.
You just couldn't get on a second chances because you've won, but I think you're a very strong player. Obviously, you'd be on an all winners, and you're with a group with. There's a lot of actually. There's not many dud winners in the LRGs. If you watch them, they're more often than not played very strong games and have a very good reason for winning. But I'm also a true believer in the sort of survivor adage that there's not a bad survivor winner. You play the season you have, you play the jury you have, you play the people you have. They were there, the jury, and they were the ones best to decide who the winner should have been based on their metrics of what a good winner was. So I'm always of the view that the right winner is the winner. And so I don't think anyone should ever say, well, you play with people you know what? Every LRG often, well, the ones I'm covering now has people that know each other. Going forward, it's going to be less of an issue for new casts because there's so many people applying that you can pretty much make sure people don't have those connections. But that's how all of these 11 are. There's people who are, the season we just covered last is super controversial because the two of the final three were secretly dating each other and nobody knew it.
Right. That is crazy. Actually, that's pretty, it's interesting though, right? Like it's a storyline. Well, I think
we dominate on it.
Yeah, 100%. Like the games outwit, outlast, outplay, but you can't outplay and outwit people if you don't outlast them. So at the end of the day, you just got to get to the end. And if you do that, you deserve to win. Unfortunately, you might not get the vote of other people, but you're there. So
you did. So congratulations on the win 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and another year for
plenty ages ago.
Yeah, but it's so good that you took the time to come on here and talk about it. We really appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to say before we finish up?
No, thanks so much for having me on, and really appreciate your time and like what you're doing with the podcast, giving some people some time on air, and it's good. Thanks.
Well, part of it, there's two reasons that I did it, and I appreciate that. One was a lot of people are new to the community and aren't aware there's all these other seasons, or they are aware of them and haven't had a chance to watch them. And I thought this was a good opportunity to highlight some of those older seasons where there wasn't this sort of podcast. Like now that the new season comes out, we'll podcast as it goes. We'll do a weekly episode and interviews and that sort of stuff, right? But back in the day, for most of these seasons, that just wasn't part of the experience. So I'm sort of retrospectively making it part of their experience, while also drawing people's attention to these other seasons that people put a lot of work into a few years back, some case 5 years, and getting it some new watchers. While we have a bit of a lull in seasons, I know that there's, Brisbane has one in the can they're making. We've got a backyard starting in July, and they've got another one in the can. Sydney has one in the can. Melbourne has 2 in the can. Like, there's plenty to come. But I've sort of found a year here where I checked in with everyone, and I said, I think Canberra has 2 in the can as well. I'm like, is anyone, when are you all releasing? Because like I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do this countdown thing in the break, keep the community going, keep the community alive, and have this good opportunity to really reflect and refresh on all these seasons. So it's been a fun journey. This is the 22nd podcast I've done. This is actually the halfway point.
There you go.
Would you look at that? Podcasts for this thing. Well, I don't do the tea parties, but 44 podcasts. This is number 22.
That is nice. Would you look at that?
There halfway. You go. I've just crossed the halfway point. It's very exciting. Thank you for that. Thank you for coming on. No as I said, have you voted for the awards? You can vote for yourself.
I have not voted for the awards, but I will be doing that after this. And I won't vote for myself.
And you can, except for best pre-merge boot, you can vote yourself. There's also a scale, on a scale of 1 to 11. Where do you rank you against the other winners? And you're probably like, I'm number 1, baby. Go for it.
Is there actually that ranking?
You can be number 1.
Yeah.
And I take the average.
Sure.
I take the average, and then I create a ranking out of it. It works.
I'll vote right after this, CK. I promise.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, go and vote. Get your votes in. I know that this is all a bit weird, I think, for some of the Brisbane community people that played this game, but go and get your votes in. We'll get that going. As I said, next week, the tea party, the best part of it, Annabelle of the Traders fame will be there with Tyler, Lily, and Alex. I think that's going to be super exciting. I think those are 3 big, fun personalities that are going to bring a lot of tea. I don't know how, sometimes the tea party gets a bit like sassy, which is sort of the idea. But as we complained about last week, everyone on this fucking cast is too fucking nice. So I'm not holding out too much hope for a lot of gossip and salacious details, but you never know.
You might get some. Lily will definitely make sure there's a little bit of tea.
Well, that's good. We do need some tea. And then we'll reveal the awards. We'll reveal who wins the all-important Bromelo medal, and we will catch up with Sam and maybe this other person you mentioned, Cam. Is that who you said?
Yeah, Cam the man.
Sam, yes. Get Cam involved as well if he wants to come on the podcast and we talk to you about the season. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone that's watched live. Thank you, everyone that watches this later. I know a lot of people don't make the live show, but watch it later on when they're exercising or driving or whatever they're doing. So we appreciate your continued support, and we will see you next week for the tea party.